Okay, so the first attempt it failed. So again, I'm going to try to hopefully get this one right. What did I learn this week? It was a lot. It was a lot. A lot of information to take in. Definitely fast moving, but it's too much almost. um, Today though, I'm only going to talk about three main points that stuck out to me. The first is the topic of regulation in the First Amendment, which was covered in Chapter 3. As Americans, we have been granted and blessed with the freedom of the First Amendment, and that means freedom of press, freedom of speech. Stating just pretty much Congress can make no law to restrict or establish certain things, and by that, some examples would be um, you can America cannot establish a national religion, freedom of religion, and there could be no abridging of freedom of speech. Now, of course, what we discussed in class dealing with that is regulation and how it could be talking about pretty much TV shows, for instance. I'm gonna use that as an example. TV shows, they can't, the government can't really tell them what they can and can't do. They can only sort of regulate when they do it. Prime example, HBO past a certain time of night. Also, they have rating systems for movies to try to help regulate, make sure that not any kid can just go to the movies and see anything. They've established that, but pretty much because media works as a fourth estate, the government really can't tell them what they can and cannot do. Just more so how they go about doing. The second thing that I would like to discuss in class that we covered is whether media is a cause of violence in society or whether society is the cause of violence in media. In class, I think we came to the conclusion that they mirror each other, and I do believe that. I definitely do believe that, but I believe that society has thrown this first stone. It landed the first punch. It started all this, and I say that for the simple fact that media looks at what's in society and analyzes society, and that's how they come up with what they will go ahead and project to the masses. That being said, I do believe that they over exaggerated it in order to make it more appealing, or they went ahead and promoted certain things just so people could relate to it. But ultimately, if the media doesn't relate to you, you tend not to care about it as much. So therefore, when you have all these movies on hoods and gangs and all that stuff right there, the reason why it's successful is because it's people experiencing the same thing. And trust me, that was no accident. They knew that. It wasn't like they looked at the audience and was like, "Oh my gosh, we have this in common." No, it was, this is what happens. I know you're gonna like this because I just studied you. This is the relation between it. So I do believe that society has thrown the first stone. Also, when you look at the whole science, media, society and media, and which one is the cause for all the violence, you get to the point of, what was it called? Hood disease. Hood disease was pretty much, in a nutshell, post-traumatic stress disorder for people that live in the hood. Being, they said that if you take a kid and expose them to the same amount of violence, well, expose them to a enormous amount of violence in the hood, that pretty much he's gonna end up with the same mental traits as a soldier would leaving a war. I do understand it. Can't say I do not see the logic behind it. I wish they would have named it something different, but I do see the logic behind that. Um, Last but not least, as far as people go that were mentioned in class, I want to bring up I gotta bring up Peter L. Berger and Thomas Lukeman. And well, the reason why I'm bringing them up is because they introduced, well, you introduced to me, but they came up with the concept of social construction of reality. And the whole concept, I'm still not 100%, like I don't have it down 100%, but from what I do understand of it, or what I believe to understand, it's crazy. One example was in class, uh, you asked about, like you asked the class, what would we think, like would we think a woman would be manly if she, deadlift 400 pounds, 405 pounds, something along that. And we all said yes. We would definitely consider her manly. And then when I was given, a video of a female squatting roughly, I want to say 365, that was mind blowing because previously, yeah, I would have thought a woman like that would look manly, but then you look at her and she's very feminine, very attractive, and that just broke my social construction of reality and showed me the true reality of it. And I didn't realize how much of it was, already, how much of the foundation was already laid in my head. And thanks to that, I hopefully, can shatter some of that, get to the real reality of things. But yeah, that just about covers, what all I learned this past week. Hopefully, I tackled every subject, and hopefully you enjoy.